Hey there, it's Mike Russell here from musicradiocreative.com, and I believe we are live. Yes, I can see we are live. Hello and welcome along to the live stream. So on today's session, whether you're listening live or watching or listening to the replay in podcast form at mrc.fm/podcast, we are going to go straight in to the presets that I use inside Adobe Audition every single day. That's right, every single day. As an audio producer, I need a workflow. I need an easy workflow, something that works for me. So I have created my own template. It's a template in Adobe Audition CC. And the first thing I will show you how to do is how to create your own template. So maybe you want to use the presets I've got, or maybe you want something you've created. You can do all of this. But first of all, a few shout outs. Hi to Michael Duffy, who's there from Warwick, Rhode Island. We've also got Gameplay Magic in the house. Yusef Heya, Louis there. It is that time. It's Monday. We are back on. So exciting to be here as well. Restoration is there. Ray in from the Philippines as well. Morning from Colorado, Wolfric. Thanks for asking, by the way, Gameplay Magic. My day is going fantastic, and I'm excited about this session. Michael says good morning, so it must be morning where you are as well. And Leonardo, hell yeah. Okay, so we are going to get stuck into this. I cannot wait to get started and to show you what exactly it is that I do inside Adobe Audition. First things first, though, if you would like to grab these presets for yourself and have everything done, let me show you on the screen behind me. Aha, whoa, there I am, sort of in the background there. Adobe Audition presets available to purchase at mrc.fm/presets. Go there right now if you'd like to get hold of these presets, all pre-done for you, packaged with 12 tutorial videos as well to show you exactly how to use the presets. These are the presets I use every single day. And also you'll get some bonuses if you order between now and this time next week. So that's Monday, the 10th of July. Okay, if you'd like to get all the bonuses, which are amazing, there will be included. Let me just go back and have a look at the bonuses. 7 sample voiceovers for you to play with, 5 sample sound effects, also 1 sample music bed, and 1 extra bonus video tutorial included as well. So that's mrc.fm/presets. Big hello to Peter Young. Hey, super chatting right there. Woo! Excellent. Peter's saying, hi, Mike. I know I asked about templates and presets back in the mastering audio mastering video, and I just wanted to say thanks for covering it today. Really enjoying the live streams. I'm so excited. Thank you, Peter. Wonderful to get a super chat from you. And if you are watching live on YouTube, by the way, super chats are very, very much appreciated. A great way of supporting the live stream and encouraging me to keep this going as well. Right, okay, let's dive straight in to the content and go into Adobe Audition CC. The first thing you'll want to know how to do is how to create a template so that every time when you start a new multi-track session like this, file, new, multi-track session, you can call it whatever you want. So Monday afternoon for me, and then you put the folder location, but you'll notice here I have a template called MRC. So when I click OK, boom, you'll see straight away that all of my presets are populated there on the screen. You can see them. If I maybe go into screen share mode now to make it a little clearer for you, you will see up there all of my presets ready to go and ready to work. Now I'm going to show you how all the presets work, and for those of you listening, I'll show you how the audio sounds with those presets. But let me go back out and show you what would usually happen. So if I create a brand new file, I'm in Ops there, let's go into Audition, multi-track session. Most of you will have it set up with template none. So we'll call this nothing. And then start, and that is the default there. You see that? That is how the default Adobe Audition multi-track looks before you've loaded your own custom template. So, custom presets, and normal. Now, if you load just a blank template in Audition, you'll see here there are no presets, no effects, nothing going on. It's just a blank canvas for you to work with, as I'm sure you're familiar with. But if you go into these presets that I've designed, you'll find there's one with voice processed and all of these bits. I'm going to go into detail about the de-esser, the scientific filter, the dynamics processing, speech volume leveler, hard limiter, parametric EQ, how that all works, and how all these different vocal tracks work to make my production workflow super, super fast. Also, we've got 2 music tracks. Now, just before I went live today, I was messing about with the presets because I wanted to get them in tip-top condition for anybody who would like to just stop the hassle of having to create them and buy the presets. I made this especially to level up the music tracks. Before, the music tracks were just blank tracks, but now I have one called Music Auto, and this is something I've set up so that any music I put in this track will be automatically faded or ducked whenever a voiceover on any of these top tracks comes in. So I'll show you how that works during this live session today, but it's very, very exciting. And sound effects as well for putting your sound effects in. We've got a voice effects bus. I'll explain in order how all of this works in this live session right now. Usually I mention comments every 15 minutes in this session, but I've just seen Isabella is in the chat right now helping out. Thank you, Isabella. Really appreciate that. I will get to the comments. I think there are some beardy comments. But like I say, let's dive into this content. So let's get some audio in. Now, all the voiceovers I use, and I'm just going to drag them over now, 7 of the voiceovers, including the sound effects as well. Let's pop them in, bonus sound effects. These are included with the preset template. If you buy it at mrc.fm/presets, you'll get all these bonuses if you order before this time next week, before July 10. So let me bring in, first of all, a voice of me. No, not me. Let's go for Helen, and let's go for Sheldon, okay? And the first thing you'll notice is these voiceovers. Oh, go on then. Let's put me in as well. You'll see these voiceovers are all at different levels, right? Okay, different levels on the voiceovers. So we got Helen records very quietly. We got Sheldon also who's very quiet, and then Mike Russell who is like super loud in your face. It's just too much to handle. By the way, I'm just going to tweak my webcam settings on this for anyone who's watching. I think my green screen is bleeding through. Let's do that. Aha, that's a bit better, isn't it now? And I'm brighter as well for those of you watching right now. So let me show you how my voice processed track works and also the setup of it and why I've done everything. So I'm literally going to tear apart this template within the next 50 minutes that we've got together and show you exactly how it's all set up. So Helen here is recording and you can see, oh, she's very quiet. Where's she going to peak at? Let's go down to the levels here and we'll say... we've got show valleys and we've got show lead meters, dynamic peaks and static peaks. Let's go for static peaks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for...
Okay, so I went for static peaks because it leaves this little marker behind here. You can see it. Can you see just over there? There's a yellow line saying that she pretty much peaked at around -20. If I put it back to dynamic...
Ladies and gentlemen...
You see it just switches off and you lose that. So static peaks is a good way to find out on the level meters. Let's make them nice and big so you can all see if you're watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for...
So yeah, you can see -20 is what it's telling me, -20 dB. Now when you compare that to Mike's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... I think I actually clipped there. I'm pretty much at 0 dB. So let's go normalize to 0.1 dB. That should eliminate the clipping. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But it's telling my peak is at pretty much 0 dB. Let's just do something else here. Amplitude statistics, and we'll just scan that. Yeah, my peak amplitude is -0.10 dB. Whoa. Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm loud. I like to be loud. Whereas let's go back to Sheldon this time and we'll see where he is on the amplitude statistics, scan, and on the level meters.
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and rock out.
Okay, so Sheldon's a bit louder than Helen is at -16 dB, or just over, because I can see from my amplitude statistics, he's peaking at around -15.7 dB. Now, that's a problem. Keep the comments coming in, by the way. I will answer them every 15 minutes during the stream, so another shout out in 5 minutes. Yeah, if we're working with multiple voiceovers, that's going to be a problem because placing those voices side by side, they're not going to sound too good. So that's why I created my voice processed track. And I'll keep these level meters nice and loud so you can see what's happening. First, I'm going to show you how it works. Let's play mic. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you can see that I'm peaking between -5 and -4. Actually, that looks to be around, -4-ish on mic. So you'll notice it's actually crushed me down a bit, and I'm no longer right up at 0 dB. I'm actually further down now at -4. How about Helen, who was at like -20 something?
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for...
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and rock out.
So you see Sheldon and Helen are now peaking in at around -4 as well, which is absolutely fantastic. That's exactly where we want things to be. So the voice processed is doing exactly the work that I need it to. It is processing every single voiceover to be exactly the same level. Now, in one of the tutorial videos I made for the preset downloads, I did actually create a video to show you how you can make this even better and make all your voiceovers match to make sure you're getting the best quality processing. But let me show you exactly how this leveler is working. So let's have a listen to me. 5. And then Sheldon.
Sit down.
Okay, both at the same volume. So what's going on here? Well, we've got all of these different presets here applied to voice processed. First of all, we've got the de-esser. What does the de-esser do? Well, if you've got any sibilant sounds, those tinny, distorted kind of sounds, the de-esser will eliminate that. That's why I add it first in the chain, because it does matter how you chain up your effects over in the effects rack. If you've got them chained in the wrong order, things will sound off or weird or different. So de-esser is first of all, just make sure we are completely eliminating any tinny, strange, trebly, horrible sounds and giving a smooth sound. It's not that aggressive. It's got a threshold of -33, so it's kicking in at any treble that might cause to be a problem, and usually the center frequency of 8,000 hertz, anywhere between 6,000 and 10,000 hertz, or 6K and 10K, is going to be a good place to overall hit. Now, you may want to add in another de-esser. Say if you're working, sometimes female voices have a lot more sibilance than male voices. Sorry, not being chauvinistic, that's just the way it is. And so you might want to, if you're working with female voiceovers, you might want to add in another de-esser, and you might want to kind of turn the center frequency down or widen it out a little bit. But you want to play with that, because too much sibilance or de-essing reduction can actually reduce the quality of the voice. Let me give you an example. Helen is actually not very essy.
Please make some noise for...
But there are a lot of S's. Let me show you. If we widen this out, turn the threshold down.
Please make some noise for...
Sit down.
Please make some noise.
You'll notice now she's starting to lose, and the same with Sheldon.
Sit down.
You can hear the s
Sit down.
has been reduced in quality, and the gain reduction is working like a beast there.
Sit down.
See those red bars? That's the gain reduction working.
Sit down.
And then turn it off.
Sit down.
Well, that's a huge difference. Listen, on
Sit down.
and off.
Sit down.
So let's go back to roughly where I was, and the center, I know the center frequency was 7,000, and I know that the threshold was -33.3. 0.3, don't forget the 0.3.
Sit down. Sit down.
And now
Sit down.
it's virtually imperceptible, that de-esser, but just know that it's working hard if it hears anything that's way too sibilant. So we got into the de-esser. What's the next thing in the chain on the voice processed track? And I'm going to focus particularly on voice processed in this particular live stream right now, because once you understand how my voice process track works, all of the other effects are rather easy to understand. So we'll spend rather less time, and also in the videos I've made with the preset download that I'm selling on the site, go into far more detail on all of those. Then we'll look at music, we'll look at how sound effects work, we'll look at how we bus all the voices together and add further shimmer and shine. Sorry, that's shimmer and shine. That's the name of my daughter's favorite TV show at the moment. But yes, you do add shimmer and shine on the voice effects bus. And finally, master. We haven't done anything on the master, but we could if we wanted to. Shout-outs coming up in under a minute now, so if you're in the chat anywhere on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, or Twitch. Actually, do you know what? We're not on Periscope, and I apologize if you're a regular Periscope viewer. Yes, I just didn't get the Periscope stream running in time, so hopefully you'll forgive me, and I'll be back on Periscope tomorrow for anyone who wants to watch in 540p. Yeah. So, going back to this, we're going to go on to the scientific filter, but first I must pay very, very good attention, I think, to anybody who has chosen to give up, I can't speak today, to give up their time to watch this stream today. I really appreciate you being there live, so I'm going to head into Facebook and, of course, YouTube. Thank you for watching on Facebook. I can see there are a stronghold of viewers right now on Facebook, including Albert, Yuzifa, we got John, we got Connor, Edward. So what have we got? Nathan is saying hello from Darwin in Australia. Wow, I think that's just one of the furthest away places watching today. Amazing. Darwin is a place close to my heart. I've been there, managed to avoid the crocodiles in Kakadu National Park. John says howdy from Hobart, Tasmania. Wow, this is so cool. We got a lot of Australian viewers today on the stream. Tassie is another place that I absolutely love. I did the John, you'll know this very well. I did the Cradle Mountain to Lake St. Clair walk nearly a decade ago now, and it's still one of my favourite walks I ever did. And my beard was even longer than this by the time I finished it. So, yeah, great to see you on Facebook. Over on YouTube, we're going to give a few shout-outs here. And again, thank you, Peter Young, for the super chat. If you want to super chat on YouTube, it's a great way to support these shows. What have we got? Restoration would like subtitles for English, because of course we're international here. I forgot to ask you where you're watching from, by the way. Please post in the comments where you are watching from right now. Calm Noise is excited to see. Don White is there saying, hey, Don LeBlanc, nice to see you. And Don LeBlanc is there. Good afternoon to you. We've got I'm Tom Hall saying, have you ever used Pro Tools? Once or twice in my radio days. Yeah, Isabella's definitely talking about getting my beard trimmed. So, yes, maybe it might come eventually, I think. What else have we got here? We got Davil in there. We got Anthony. If you're recording a voiceover, what do you recommend as the target dB for the artist's initial voice track and for the final product? That's an interesting question that I can answer right now. I would recommend setting your headroom to a maximum when you're recording in minus 3 dB at the very maximum, so you've still got some headroom. And then when you send it out, I mean, it doesn't matter as long as it's below 0 dB, in my opinion. And it matters even less, in my opinion, now with the invention of 32-bit floating point sample rates. Fantastic in Adobe Audition. I think even Audacity can do something like 24-bit. But as long as we're above 16-bit, even if you distort, even if you clip a bit, as long as it's digital clipping, you should be okay. If it's analog clipping's the thing you've got to watch out for, because this is analog clipping. Sorry to be really loud. And that's something you still can't fix. But if it's digital clipping, you're kind of okay. So I hope that answers your question. To answer it very briefly, minus 3 dB. That's where I'd go for. I prefer it louder than quieter. That's just my personal opinion. Because I think when things are quiet, when things are too quiet, when you normalize or you compress, you risk sucking up room volume as well. So it's not necessarily good. Calm Noise, similar question. Highest volume in dB you shouldn't exceed? 0. That's the simple answer to that. Mega Radio UK, good afternoon to you. Locked in. Thank you for being locked in. Been looking forward to this, says Baron. You should create a live stream where we have access to some files so you can follow through it with you. Where is the preset package? Yeah, just to answer that for you, I can see a few people in the chat asking about that. It's on the MRC website now at Adobe Audition Presets, but the nice short link to go there if you would like to buy the full package, which includes the full template that I'm using to show you right now, 12 tutorial videos to show you how everything works. Then you can get it at mrc.fm/presets, mrc.fm/presets. presets. And if you do that within a week, so before Monday, the 10th of July, you'll get these bonuses. The 7 sample voiceovers I'm using in this session, 5 sample sound effects, 1 sample music bed, and 1 extra bonus video tutorial that I do refer to in at the end of my 12 video tutorials in this package that will just show you how to add extra polish to your productions. So Adobe Audition presets available to buy now at mrc.fm/presets. Lee Johnson says hello from Arizona, USA. We got SDHP from Switzerland. Davil's in India. Bloody Man's in France. Anthony is in Jacksonville, Florida, USA. Minnesota, Michael. We've got MJ Gray in Chicago. Louis going on about the beard trimmer. Throw away the beard trimmer. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Davil, as well, for the beardy comments. What advice do you have for a sound engineer to keep learning things and get better? That's Seluth on the YouTube stream. Seluth, keep watching these live streams. That's the first piece of advice. If you want to know something specific, go to youtube.com/musicradiocreative, a full archive. But of course, you know, I'm mentioning my own stuff. There are a load of other great producers out there. All you need to do is search for the issue you're having with audio right now on somewhere like YouTube, and you'll find a plethora of answers. And there are some really, really good teachers out there. You know, I enjoy and focus on Audition, but I found other great tutorials for Audacity, others for Logic, even though I'm dabbling into Logic now. Some really good tutorials I'm watching. In fact, next time I find it, I'll have to shout out a couple of people who are teaching Logic really well. I've got a friend Will who's teaching Ableton really well. If you search for his channel, EDM Tips, it's pretty good on YouTube, and he's covering kind of dance music creation in Ableton. So, never stop learning. I never stop learning. That's why when I'm off these streams, I'm on YouTube learning myself and brushing up my technique. So there are my answers. Now we're going to hop back in. Another comment shout out coming up in 10 minutes. We got scientific filter. So after de-essing, we are rolling off anything below 100 hertz, and really there's nothing in the voice really, unless you're really like this, or you've got a really deep voice. There might be a little bit around 100 hertz, but nothing of significance under 100 hertz. If you start to knock off any more, it starts to sound like an imaged voice. Let me give you an example.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And
sit down.
That sounds good, but you know how those radio promos sound on Z100, like Z100 New York? Well, if you go up to like 250 or 260 cutoff,
sit down,
starts to sound rather more imaged, and up to here,
sit down,
you really
sit down.
You really get that kind of high pass filter that you hear on a lot of radio promos. So I'm sitting at 100 because it's a subtle effect, and we use that effect later on the EQ track. Dynamics processing, a very, 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 very light processor here. Really, really light stuff. 3-to-1 ratio. Threshold is -22, so it's not doing much. It's just like here where I've spiked. So
5.
You remember when I played that to you in the waveform view?
5.
Before I normalized it, it was actually clipping. Well, dynamics processing will just take care of that. If anything gets too loud, its role is to get in there and go, no, you don't get above that. I'm going to push that waveform down. And actually, to give you an example, let's call it MRC Dynamics for the second. I'm saving this as a preset so I can show you what it's doing in the waveform view. Let's go back to this, and I'm going to undo my normalization so we've got some clipping. 5. You see how that's clipping? Let me just drag this up. 5. And let me loop it round. 5. So you can see clearly there we got red marks. That's the danger zone, as we well know, the place that we should not be. And then we'll go into effects, amplitude and compression, dynamics processing. Going to show you this now in the waveform view. I did save it as MRC Dynamics, and I'll bring up a preview window. Look at how well that dynamics really crunches me down. 5. And it actually brings me down to just under -7 dB. 5. But later on in my chain, in the multi-track, I actually go 5 back up to -5, and you can hear there's a lot more going on with the voice as well. So there you go. That's why we have dynamics processing in the chain. Now I'm going to look at speech volume level up. This is the kick-ass effect, I call it, because this has the most significant effect on all the voices in Voice Processed. I'm going to play you this whole track back, and I want you to listen carefully to how it sounds when I switch this on and how it sounds when I switch it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for...
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and rock out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for...
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and rock out.
So I think you could hear the difference if you were watching when I enabled and disabled. You can definitely hear the difference with the speech volume leveler. So what is it doing underneath the hood? Let's save this as MRC speech, and I will show you. So we're going to go into the waveform view again, and we'll look at someone like Helen, who's nice and quiet there. Then I'm going to go into effects, and we're going to amplitude and compression, speech volume leveler. And we got it over here. And I'll put on the MRC speech preset here. There it is. Now notice how that differs from the default speech volume leveler. So here on the default level, that is really crushed out and sort of harshly leveled. But when I go to MRC speech, we just got a little bit more dynamic range going on there. Not much. Obviously, if I turn that all the way over here, you'll see much more dynamic range, but much less. So this is the thing that's really doing the magic here. You're leveling them out, your target volume level. So what this is doing is it's simply saying, right, anything I want to get right now in the audio and maximize it right up. So level everything out and maximize it right up. So this is something even harsher than the dynamics processing effect that really affects. And this is what really brings all those voices up to a reasonable level so that we can all have them at the same level. The speech volume leveler, a very important part of the voice processing chain. Then we've got a hard limiter. Hard limiters, you may well have seen these before, and I do hope to go into detail on the hard limiter at some point. But just to let you know that the maximum amplitude that it will ever get to is minus 3 dB. I'm input boosting by 3 dB, so essentially there is no change. Again, I can show you this in the waveform view and how it affects. So we got a look ahead time of 5 and a release time of 200. Let me show you this on my countdown here. We'll go into effects and we'll go to hard limiter. So the look ahead time was 5 and the release time 200. And we had a maximum amplitude of minus 3 and then an input boost. And you see how it's now like doing like a haircut on all of my voices here. So it's really just saying anything that's too loud, it is chopping down. And if we boost it then by 3 dB, you're literally then, yeah, that's a bit better. Input boost 3 dB, so that's not so much of a haircut. But still, the maximum we'll ever reach with the hard limiter, which comes very late in the chain, because it's one of the last things we want to do. It's nicely limiting any audio from getting above minus 3. Let's listen to how limited audio sounds. 4, 4, 4, 4. And I think you'll agree you can't really hear that it's been limited unless I did something like this. 4, 4. Or this. 4, 4. That's about as limited as you can get. 3, 3. And if you did it on the silence, 3. You can hear some of the studio noise there. So limiting at a certain harsh level 2 is really, really harsh. So there you go. Right, just before I get back and shout out a few more comments, I'll show you the parametric equalizer in action. Here we have the parametric equalizer, and it's all set to different frequency levels. So basically, I've selected a few frequencies that generally make voices sound better. This may differ for you, and you might want to move it around, but I'm increasing some high frequencies, lifting up the midtones, and then I'm kind of rolling off a little bit of the muddy, bassy sounds. So in actuality, if we play with Sheldon's voice, let's have a listen to how we're enhancing.
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and rock out.
So you can hear when I really enhance those highs, how they're really good frequencies to enhance.
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and
when I roll them off, he sounds all muddy. The same with the mids.
Sit down, strap in, hang on, and rock out.
And the difference you'll hear when I put the mids on and take them off is that when I add the mids, you can really hear the voice. And when you're mixing with music tracks, and I'll demonstrate that very shortly, if you've got a lot of mid-range, you stand a fairer chance of cutting across music. Whereas, as you'll notice with it all rolled off,
Sit down, strap in.
if I popped a music bed in there now, we got one already pre-prepared, put it in one of the music tracks and turn it up a bit.
Sit down, strap in.
You notice how the music just blends with the voice? You can't hear the voice?
Sit down, strap in. Hang on, rock.
You literally have lost the voice. That's why mids are important.
Sit down, strap in.
Now, even if I make that music super loud,
Sit down,
you know, I can really keep turning this music up, and with loads of mid,
sit down, strap in.
that music is super loud now.
Sit down,
It's clipping all over the place, I know, but the main thing is it doesn't matter because we have got a strong, solid mid-range boost. Now, bass frequencies. Why have I knocked off bass? I will show you. Let me just mute the music track, and I'm going to boost the bass up.
sit down, strap in. Hang on, and rock out.
You hear how muddy the voice has got?
Sit down.
The same with my voice.
5, 4.
Really muddy, horrible bass EQ. And the same on Helen.
Please make some noise.
Just horrible bass. That's why I'm rolling that frequency off. Right, it is halfway through the stream. Why not do a few more shout outs? We're on at youtube.com/musicradiocreative. We're also over at facebook.com/musicradiocreative, broadcasting live around the world. We've got Aaron in from Dubai. John saying, Mike, will you still be doing Facebook Live lessons this week? Yes, every day, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. UK time, whatever time that is for you. I will be doing live streams every single week. So every single weekday from 2 p.m. you can catch me here live. And actually, I think on Facebook and on YouTube, you may well be able to see the streams up to a week in advance. I'm scheduling up to a week in advance. So you can see and cherry pick those streams that are of interest to you. Sometimes I'll be covering stuff that you'll know about, like audio compression. I've got that scheduled for next week. You might say, well, I know enough about audio compression, so I'll do something else then, but I really want to know about making Star Wars effects, which I'm doing on Friday, by the way, so I'll tune into that stream. So, yeah, you will get a full schedule, I think, on Facebook and YouTube. I'm pre-scheduling. Wave says, hello, Mike. Wave from the Philippines. Nice to have you there. And let's hop over to YouTube and see what we have got here. We got Tony saying, do I have my settings at 24 or 32-bit? I go for the max 32-bit in Adobe Audition. I think it's the best. They've done some clever, crafty algorithm programming there at Adobe HQ to make 32-bit a thing. So I think, yeah, why not take advantage of it? DJ Mickey TV, I'm at work and had to leave before you explained the processing process. Whoops. You haven't missed auto ducking though, I'm pleased to say. And DJ Mickey's tuning in from Trinidad and Tobago. Awesome stuff. Good to have you there. Michael's wondering how long the beard can get before Isabella won't let you get back on a live show. We'll see. We'll see. We can have a challenge about that, can't we? Baron, will the live stream be available to watch later? Always. And it's a podcast as well. Usually within the hour of this finishing, you can get it at mrc.fm/podcast. Lee wonders, are there great tutorials on... no, he's not wondering. He's saying there are great tutorials about everything. I found some really good Premiere Pro tips on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. There are some. Definitely. What else have we got here? Michael's asking for the link to get these presets. You can buy them online from mrc.fm/presets. That's mrc.fm/presets. And if you buy within a week of this live stream or this podcast going out, that's before the 10th of July, 2017, you'll also get some bonuses. In addition to the template file that you can load in yourself to Audition, there'll be 12 tutorial videos showing you how to set these all up, how to use them in practice, and there'll be bonuses available only until the 10th of July 2017, including 7 sample voiceovers, 5 sample sound effects, 1 sample music bed, and an extra bonus video tutorial to show you how to do some polish at the end of using all of those presets. So that's mrc.fm/presets. What else have we got? We got Maru there talking with Isabella in the chat. Steve from Milwaukee. We got Shamir from Guyana again. I'm saying it correctly. Guyana in South America. It's good to have you there watching. And Lee's loving the email alerts on upcoming YouTube live events. That's really cool. I'm not sure how they work. I haven't received them myself. But yeah, I'm interested to know about that. I think YouTube does do a good job, though. And JCLAXIC says your tutorials help a lot. My pleasure. Right. Let us hop back in now to the presets. Now, we're almost done with the voice processed. I was just showing you why I roll off the bass and why I increase the mids and the treble. I think you'll understand that pretty well. A final scientific filter. Oh, that's over in my... That is over in my EQ, so we'll get to that later. So yeah, let's just recap what we've learned so far about voice, because voice is very important. De-essing it to remove any sibilance. Scientific filter to roll off any bass frequencies we simply do not need. Dynamics processing to stop anything above a certain level clipping over and getting too far out of control. Pushes it down. Speech volume leveler to crush the voice, so that's how we can get all these voices on the track at the same volume level. Look at this.
Please make some noise.
Minus 5 dB.
Sit down.
Minus 5 dB.
5.
Minus 5, minus 4 dB-ish, even though they are all recorded at different volume levels. Hard limiter, just to limit the audio down to not get above a certain level. Parametric EQ to brighten things up. And that is it for the voice processed track. Now, I can show you, what can I show you? I can show you these other 4 effects. I'll go into them fairly briefly because essentially it's exactly this track with one extra effect added on. And if you wanted to, say, copy, once you've got all of these audio presets in your rack, if you wanted to copy them, you could save them as MRC Magic, like this, and then if I wanted to create a new track, like this stereo track here, we can make it purple, we can make it pink so it pops out. If I then drag Helen,
Ladies and gentlemen.
from that track into my new track,
Gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
you see the MRC Magic goes?
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's why I saved it as a preset, so that when I go into presets here, MRC Magic is there,
Ladies and gentlemen.
and we're back in business. It's as easy as that to duplicate up tracks like that. One thing that I haven't done, though, on this track is if I zoom this out a bit, you'll see that all of my tracks here are running through the voice effects bus. All of them except the new one I created, so I need to do that for the new one, voice effects. So that would be a logical point now to go to my voice effects bus and show you what I've got set up over there and why am I busing all these tracks into voice effects. What is a bus? A bus is simply aggregating all of those tracks that I'm sending into the bus, doing some funky effects and letting them come out the other side. So on the voice effects bus, I have got the multiband compressor, and it's really, really, really light because too much multiband compression can give you a headache. So really, this is just for the shimmer and shine, as I like to call it. Watch the multiband compressor on my voice effects bus in action.
Ladies and gentlemen.
As you can see, just tickling the red on a few frequencies there.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's have a listen to my voice.
5, 4, 3.
Again, no matter how loud the voice was initially, it's just tickling the red in the multiband compressor. This is basically compressing different frequencies, lows, mids, and highs at different levels. So I'm compressing the bass and the high range quite highly, but not so much on the mid range.
5,
And let me show you how a multiband compressor can affect things by looping this number round
5,
and then adding on more or less compression. First of all, with bass.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
So it's very subtle, but you'll notice that the bass is either being reduced or increased. As I roll off the compression, you can hear more bass. As I crank it up, you're losing the bass. Same with the treble.
5, 5, 5, 5.
So there we go. That's very muffled now because I'm really compressing the treble. And over here,
5, 5,
we're introducing sibilance. Can you hear that again? Sibilance is coming in. So a great sibilance reducer.
5, 5, 5.
That's about right. And then obviously you got your ratios, your attacks and releases that have all been preset. Very light, again, a 2-to-1 ratio. We're not going nuts with the multiband compressor. Like I say, it's the shimmer and shine to the overall voiceover sound. And the mid-ranges, let's play with them.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
But you end up sounding like you're talking through a sock if you play with them too much. So we'll stick with what we got.
Sit down.
And everything is sounding good. Yes, sit down, stop playing with the multiband compressor. Another thing, and this will nicely wrap up the voice section, and the reason why I've spent so long on voice is because, well, there's just a lot you can do with voiceovers in Adobe Audition. So I wanted to really make sure in the short time I have to go through all of these presets right now in the live stream that I can definitely dig into voice effects, because I know a lot of people were asking how particularly my voice effects racks are all set up. So this will nicely polish off. The voice effects bus also has a studio reverb and analog delay effect. Studio reverb is a very light setting here. We got wet down to 15 and it adds on reverb to the voice.
And rock out.
That's actually quite a nice reverb.
And rock out.
And I did that intentionally because I wanted that kind of very subtle reverb that you can use in promos and imaging, and 15% is good. If somebody wants to go back to the 80s or 90s, you can put it up to 50%.
And rock out.
Music power, all that kind of stuff. 50% wet is going to achieve that kind of effect. And then obviously I have the analog delay on my voice effects bus. And that's just a different kind of effect. Again, you hear this in modern imaging quite a lot. This is more of a kind of right now effect.
And rock out.
It's that kind of rock the mic kind of
And rock out.
echo. And because it's on a voice bus, it applies to every voiceover, no matter where it is in the multitrack.
Please make some noise for
5, 1.
So you can hear the voice effects in action. I suggest that you choose one or the other when you're doing your own projects. So don't add reverb and analog delay. You can give it a go.
1.
But I think 1 is enough and 2 are overkill. So definitely make up your mind. Is this going to be a reverby type of production, or are we going to go for analog delay? I'd say generally reverb is a more sort of old-fashioned way of doing production, and analog delay is a more modern way. So you take your pick and whatever's right for your sound. That's the Voice FX bus. Coming up in 4 minutes, we will shout out some more comments, so please keep them coming in at YouTube and Facebook. Also, if you're on Twitch, I'm watching that chat room as well, so I can definitely shout you out if you are over on Twitch right now. But let's take a look into everything else. Let's recap. So we've gone through the voice processed. We've gone through the voice effects bus. These different tracks here now, voice EQ, chorus, echo, and flanger, are simply there to help me do production quickly, like this.
ladies and gentlemen.
So maybe ladies and gentlemen.
Men.
And then we'll throw in Sheldon here. So Sheldon is going to say in stereo on my chorus one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
So that's a chorus effect. And then I can put Helen on the echo.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for
So immediately I can do all kinds of production effects without having to go through and saying, oh, yes, I need to add some scientific filter, or I need to add some voice chorus, or I need to add some voice echo, or I need some flanger on this track. It's literally all here preset for me. And that is why it's so important you have a template in Adobe Audition. I cannot stress it enough. Even if you don't use mine, if you create your own, if you go and leave this video right now and hop into your own copy of Audition and say, right, I'm going to create my own template, please do it. Please don't start your productions from scratch. If you can take one thing away from this session, it is have your own Adobe Audition template with all your presets laid out. It will make you 5 times faster at editing. And that is a guarantee. So now I can drag in some effects and show you the effects rack in action. So we've got our little production there. Just going to drag in some wipes and some pads. All of these included in the download, by the way, if you grab the presets from mrc.fm/presets before 10th of July 2017.
ladies and gentlemen.
Now I'm just going to turn these down a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please.
And then we'll have one more effect just to wash it out here. Let's move that in like that, and do that.
Gentlemen,
Sit down.
please make
Down.
please make
Down.
please make some noise for
And then we'll have a final whoosh at the end.
some noise for some noise for
So you can see how fast it is to produce in a template like this one.
ladies and gentlemen,
Sit down.
please make some noise for
Okay, that's just something I put together from the voiceovers that are included in the bonuses for this Adobe Audition preset template. We'll get into sound effects and music. I wanted to particularly focus on music in the last section because, yes, auto-ducking, side-chaining, really, really, really difficult thing to do in Adobe Audition and in most audio editors, actually. Oh, don't worry, in my preset template, I've actually set that up already, and I'm going to show you how it works in just a minute. But now we'll hop back to some comments, as I like to do it every 15 minutes during the live stream. Just post your comment now or a super chat if you like over at youtube.com/musicradiocreative or wherever you are watching this. Let's see what we have got here. Someone asking, Maro asking for the link to download these presets. Go to mrc.fm/presets. You can buy the full package there, everything that I use, and I do use this literally every day to produce audio at Music Radio Creative. This is my starting template. Yes, I go off and do other things. I add in synths, I add in vocoders, I do other extra things, but this is my bread and butter. This is where I work from. So mrc.fm/presets, and you can get exactly what I'm using, along with 12 tutorials on how to set it all up and get it working exactly right for you. And before the 10th of July, if you buy them within a week of listening to this stream or podcast, you get the 7 sample voiceovers I'm using in this session, 5 sample sound effects, 1 sample music bed, and an extra bonus video tutorial, which, if you're bored of pulling volume knobs up and down, will show you how to mitigate most of that when you're producing audio. Leonardo says #free the beard. There's a lot of beard talk. Yeah, I'm not sure how long I want it to get before it starts looking silly and before it cuts off at the bottom of the screen on the live stream. Could be a little difficult. Manos is in from Athens, Greece. We got, who else have we got? We've got Diego saying, thank you for all the learning and teaching you're doing. I love the tutorials in Adobe Audition. We got Liam asking, is it a good idea to have voice processing on a voice when doing a dry read for news, as I'm recording clips for demos? Definitely a little bit of processing, although I would probably tweak this, and I would probably, for instance, take down the harshness of the speech volume leveler if you're doing like voiceover demos. Let me show you how this might work. Let's move Sheldon over here. Yeah, we can use, shall we use Sheldon, or let's use Rachel? Here we go, here's Rachel.
Making summers refreshing and relaxing.
Now that's kind of typically imaged, and if you're doing a news demo, well, you don't want to be too imaged, so you want to take this dynamic range and you want to move it up a bit.
Making summers refreshing and relaxing.
Or maybe even more.
Making summers refreshing.
And then you start to get a more natural sound. It won't be as compressed, but a more natural sound. Moving it up.
Making summers refreshing.
And you're really boosting the speech volume leveler's capacity there. So, yeah, that's what I do in that instance. What else have we got here? Leonardo, does the rack processing work for a podcast, or do you recommend another kind of process? Ooh, podcasting. Yeah, that's something very close to my heart. Actually, that's something for a whole new tutorial. Let me write that down, podcasting, because I have a separate template that I use for podcasting, and it's not this one. So podcasting template, we'll do that in another live stream, because that's such a good question, Leonardo. And obviously I won't have time to cover it in the next 10 minutes, but podcasting, different kettle of fish, and no is the short answer. You don't want to be using this this kind of setup for your podcast. It will sound far too compressed and harsh on the ears. If you're producing podcast intros and outros, podcast jingles, and all those kind of whizzy bits that go in between your speech, absolutely get this template and use it to create your podcast sound, but only for the bits you're using to intro, outro, and the jingles in the middle. Do not use this template to produce a podcast. No, is the answer. It'll be another stream, and it'll be in your honor, Leonardo. How about that? Calm noise. Is it okay sometimes to use a mixer as a way for pre-production processing? Yes, absolutely. At this current point in time, as I produce this tutorial, I do not have a mixing desk in my studio. But it's funny you mention that calm noise, because I've been thinking for the last couple of days, it might be good, especially as I do all this live stuff and I have a lot of different audio streams. It might be nice for me to have a mixer to kind of fade things in and out. And I've got like 3 microphones in this studio. It might be nice to be able to fade those in and out. So mixing desks definitely give you more granular control. If you're talking about the overall sound of like a radio show or a podcast, if you're talking about production for Audition, then there are some great plugins you can get. In fact, Josh, who's a great supporter of this show, mentioned to me just the other day that the PreSonus fader port is pretty good. I think Audition support PreSonus. They support Mackie mixers. Let's go into preferences. And where is it? There is one here. Is it? Oh, control surface. Yeah. So you've got, you can add on, the PreSonus fader port, which is just what Josh was telling me about earlier on this week or over the weekend. PreSonus fader port is really, really cool for Audition. And I think Audition only just started to support this. So really cool thing. Mackie mixers, Red Rover, EQ, which I've no idea what that is. And the palette gear, which I have here and I've done some tutorials about on my channel as well, are supported. And palette's pretty good too. I like palette. It's fun. It's funky. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very, no, the word skips my mind, but it's very trendy palette gear, used by millennials and such like. Ron says, would these presets work in Audition CS 5.5? I can't guarantee that. In fact, I can only guarantee them for Adobe Audition CC. And it does say that actually on the page at mrc.fm/presets, that they're only guaranteed for Adobe Audition CC. No support offered for CS6, CS 5.5, or, well, they definitely won't work in 3 because it's a different format. We're talking .sx, we're talking sex files here. No, not sex files, SESX files, but it does sound almost like, yeah, this is definitely a clean channel, by the way, so none of that. But yeah, SESX files that we use in 5.5. But what I'll do for you, Ron, if you are considering it, if you buy before the bonuses run out, before next week, I will, and this is just between you and me and anyone else watching now, I will support previous versions of Audition for the next week. So anyone who's heard me say this on the live stream and buys those presets at mrc.fm/presets before the 10th of July 2017, I will offer support and I will help you to get it working for previous versions of Audition. But that's kind of, yeah, just off the top of my head kind of thing for the next week. I just can't. I know I won't be able to offer support beyond that. But yeah, if you're listening and you'd like that, then I will offer support for that time. Don White, would the preset work for voiceovers? Absolutely. In fact, that's the bulk of what it's there for. Louis has ordered. Thank you, Louis. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Behringer is supported too, says Michael. Oh, really? That's so cool. Betty says, when I record podcasts, hearing myself in the headset, I have some disturbing latency. Can it be solved? Well, it depends. Depends what audio interface you've got, Betty. I recommend getting the latest technology. If you're on Mac, definitely make sure it's a Thunderbolt connection. I am using a very old school FireWire connection. In fact, so old school, I need an adapter to plug it into my Mac now, but the latency is pretty low on that. You should be okay if your audio interface is USB 3.0, but if you're using USB 2.0, forget it. You're going to sound like this because you'll be listening to yourself a couple of seconds back and it's awful. So my guess is you may have a USB 2.0 audio interface, but all the modern audio interfaces now generally have very, very low latency. Over on Facebook, we got Sean Lee, we got Richard in the house as well. So thank you for supporting over on Facebook as well. We're on Twitch too, so it's great to have you. And Yuri, fantastic. Right. Final thing I wanted to show you, we've gone over all of the voice processing effects. We've gone over the sound effects a little bit, the voice effects bus. Final thing I wanted to show you before I disappear And you can keep throwing in a few comments. I will mention some towards the end of the stream before the hour here. But I did want to show you music and how we can level that to sound nice. So let's move this over. So the music racks don't really have any effects on, apart from, you might have noticed this one over here, Dynamics Processing. Let me just bring this over here. Oh, that's too loud. Turn it down. Sorry if I deafened you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Right, let's try and get that on the beat.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for... Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
And we might just want to like fade that, do a little cut there, and just merge this together like so. Boom.
Please make some noise.
Rock out.
Rock out. Let's have a listen to that.
Ladies and gentlemen.
One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
It's nice the way that ends, isn't it? And then we just say...
Is for...
Sit down.
No, we didn't want sit down. We wanted rock out.
And rock.
No, just the rock out.
Rock out.
There we go. Okay. So let's now mute the sound effects and play it with the music.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
Rock out.
I'm going to turn this right up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make...
Now you hear how that music is too loud now? It's definitely drowning out the voiceover.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
Rock out.
Now, this edition I only popped into my my rack today, firstly because I thought, well, crikey, actually there's a million times I'm producing that I could use an effect like this, and it's a pain to set up. So I have added in something called Dynamics Processing. I'll show you fully under the hood how this works, but it's not an easy thing to understand nor set up. So I'll just show you the difference between switching it on and off. So this is in the Music Auto track, and it's called Dynamics Processing, but it does something slightly different. Have a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
That's without it. Now let's add it on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
Rock out.
Did you notice the difference? Who can tell me in the comments the difference?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
Rock out.
Okay, you heard that's without it, and this is with it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
Rock out.
You'd be absolutely right if you said that that effect is automatically ducking the music bed when and only when the voice starts speaking. So yes, it's a great way to auto-duck music, auto-ducking, auto-fading, also known as side chaining. So how is this working under the hood? In the last few minutes of this stream, I can show you. It's quite fun. First of all, I've added a nice soft dynamics processing effect to the music track. Oh, I just squiggled it up there. Let's squiggle it back down. But I've side-chained it here by enabling side-chain output or input. There it is, stereo. And then I'm checking that all my sidechain inputs here are set up correctly, as they should be. And then I am going to the voice effects bus, which this bus has all of my voiceovers on. Listen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sit down.
Please make some noise for...
So you see that volume meter constantly moving. And then over on voice effects, I have this basically set up so that, let me see if I can show you. If we go into sends, you'll see that it is sidechained with the dynamics processing. It's grayed out now because obviously I've selected it. Dynamics processing over on the music. So every time it's getting a signal from the music, every time it's getting a signal from the voice, it's sending a signal to the music saying, duck it, duck it, duck it, duck it, duck it. Definitely duck it. And that's how it ducks the music. So yeah, a pretty complex setup there. You have to go through a few different parts of Adobe Audition to set up side chaining. But I thought, yeah, music brackets auto would be a nice little addition and a nice way to round off those presets. So what do we learn? Well, we learned about voice processing, how to get everything at the same level, why we do that, why we use all these different things like de-essing, scientific filter, dynamics, speech volume leveler, hard limiter, parametric, how to use EQ, chorus, echo, flanger, how to auto-duck on music, how to set your music up correctly, how to mix it in these two music tracks, how to duplicate and add a new track and then put the presets on, route it through the voice effects bus, why we need a voice effects bus and how it works on all the voice tracks, how you can add an overall reverb or analog delay to all your voice tracks using the voice effects bus, and a little bit about sound effects. Wow. I'm out of breath. Suffice to say, you can go to musicradiocreative.com and if you want the direct link to these Adobe Audition presets to buy them yourself, it's mrc.fm/presets. That's mrc.fm/presets. Until the 10th of July 2017, I'll support previous versions of Adobe Audition, but these presets say on the page that they only support Adobe Audition CC. But if you buy before July 10, 2017, I'll support previous versions personally, and you'll get the bonuses of 7 sample voiceovers, 5 sample sound effects, 1 sample music bed, and an extra bonus video tutorial in addition to the other 12 that I include with this presets package at mrc.fm/sfx. A few shouts before I disappear today. What have we got here? Is there a handy way to remove unnecessary files in the file menu? Yeah, if you don't need one, you just click it here and hit delete. Boom, it's gone. I just deleted a file. There you go. We got Shamir and Anthony feeding back on the voices. And Anthony's finally asking, can you do a show later on going more into depth into ducking and sidechaining? That is a great idea. And I will be back very soon indeed with that and more topics. Make sure to subscribe to the upcoming streams, 2 p.m. UK time, every day, Monday to Friday. We are diving deep into the world of audio production. See you next time. And to get the presets, mrc.fm/presets.